Be proud of yourself, own who you are, and show the world what a Muslim businesswoman is capable of. This is what we're talking about today with Fouzia. She's a Muslim woman from India, and this conversation is a must to listen to. Here is the talk. Hello, Fouzia. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see your face, even if we talked with each other yesterday.
Yes.
But it's nice to
Yes.
see your face.
Last night. For me, it was like last night.
Last night. That's true. That's true. Now the sun is out. You have some fish behind you. That's great. It's a good,
Yes.
yeah, good
It's a
filming
good
spot.
sign. Yeah.
Exactly. And we will understand why in a few seconds. So, Fouzia, let's start with you sharing a bit of your story about your professional life, and it's brand new, and I love this perspective because you've graduated not long ago, and so you had different experiences and as a Muslim woman, and I think it will be valuable for people to hear that from you. So like give us
Mhm.
an introduction of like your experience, your story so far.
Sure, definitely. So, so I was born in the Gulf. So I was never, actually, I'm an Indian. So I was born there and I spent 14 years of my life in the Gulf, in Riyadh to be exact. So when I moved to India, first was there was a huge cultural difference. So it was, of course, there were a lot of insults, and you don't know how to. You only talk in English. You don't know the cultural language, and it took few years for me to adjust to those norms. And of course, back then I was a non-hijabi. I used to go to school, come back. So I didn't quite give much importance to that. It was only my academics. So when I graduated, I moved to Mumbai, which is like the design center for India. So there, I was a non-hijabi back then. I'll tell you the reason why I'm specifying this, because when I felt a bit different when I was in Mumbai, and when people just scrutinize me and they'll be like, Fouzia, is that a Muslim name? Okay, I didn't know you were a Muslim. So it did happen to anyone in my group, but only me. So I used to just, somewhere I used to be like, oh, okay, again, what next? So it was, I don't know, it was a stereotype there, but I didn't address it because I took a back seat back then, because for me it was just career which was important. And then
Mm,
when I moved to Chennai after like a year or so, and I started working, uh, I couldn't find in the workplace, I couldn't find a difference. But once I started wearing a hijab, which was due to my personal reasons, and once I started freelancing, going alone, going to a site, I did find a huge difference there.
mm,
So when my clients saw me with my hair one day, and the next day I'm with my hijab. So first thing, they didn't know what it meant. They were asking me if I'm going to wear it for like a momentarily phase. Am I going to remove it again?
yeah,
So they weren't educated on what this is,
yeah.
why one person is wearing it. And a lot of my friends in my workplace, they were like, oh my God, did your parents come and ask you to wear it? Are you oppressed? Is
Yeah.
someone forcing it on you? So like my own colleagues, and I have to educate them saying that no, it was my decision.
Yeah.
So that took at least like a month for them to adjust to me wearing my hijab. And of course, it's not only the headscarf, it's also the way you dress, it's the modest clothing. So
Exactly.
that shift, it took a long time for them to actually go like accept that, okay, this is the new Fouzia, this is her
Mm-hmm.
values.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I went to site, um, okay, so it's like if it's only me, the attention is on me. But if there's an architect who is a guy, and I'm an interior designer who's a girl, and if there's a question, who is the project going to go to? It's by default, it's him, because it's a stereotypical mindset that men can handle the site better than a woman.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to go there. I have to take that extra leap saying that, and I have to make my voice more bolder.
Mm.
to show them that I can make the people work on site. So for a man, he can take a back seat because it's already built for him. But for me, I could sense the difference, and I have to take that extra leap to get that project.
Right.
It's not
yeah, you have to justify and to over justify your experience and your leadership.
It's like I'm proving to them that I can handle your project.
Yeah. Welcome to the life of a Muslim woman. and I suppose in India, as you know, Islam is a minority religion. It's different, and it requires, I think, more efforts. 100%.
Yeah. No, there isn't a powerful voice in India yet to address issues and talk about it in openly, because even if a woman comes out, they're always put down. It's a society. Oh my God, you're not supposed to talk all this. What will the others think about you? You have to get married. That's life. What will your in-laws say? I mean, that is a very toxic trait. No one really puts light on it, but if it goes unnoticed, then it results in mental health. But no one realizes that.
Right.
So yeah, that's like my observations so far, as a hijab, as a non-hijab. Because without wearing a hijab, I was scrutinized physically.
Yes.
When I was getting a job, or when I was like, okay, this is how the person is. So again, as a woman, physically,
Yes.
I am how do you say? I am approved or rejected, however you want to put that. And as a Muslim hijabi woman, it's can she take it? Can she do it?
Yeah.
It's that difference. And also it's like, will her family allow it?
Yeah.
So it's like at that time you want to talk back to them, but
Yes.
you can't.
Yeah. You have to trade very carefully, not going into the confrontation, because it's just gonna hurt you and make you not really reliable, or like just too reactive. So that is super interesting that you shared this story, because we can dive into like the top 3 struggles that you had as being a Muslim woman at the workplace, and you just shared one. So you can like maybe have like other examples that you want to share, or like that stood out in your life.
Okay, so of course, the workplace, the first one was gender discrimination, which is clear.
Yeah.
And the second will be the physical appearance. Like, that's wrong, but that's what happens. It's not the design skill one looks at. It's always like how you present yourself. I mean, there is, to one extent, yes, that is important, but then that's not everything.
Right.
So I don't think I have a third one, but because these two are the primary things that I faced on a personal level.
Right.
So third one, I don't think so.
So where does
maybe it's too much for me to even think of the third one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. What about experience? I mean, has experience been, a struggle because you were like a beginner at that time? But even as you gave the example of the architect and you, because he was a man, well, the gender discrimination was like very, very visible. But what about your experience? Did you have any, any things about that?
Experience of selling myself as an interior designer.
Yes, yeah.
Well, landing up projects is hard by itself. So if you're working under a firm, it's fine. But then when you're doing it all by yourself, you're practically taking care of the finances, you're taking up the marketing, you're taking care of PR. So it is a bit difficult, but working under a firm is kind of, am I answering the right thing to your question, or am I drifting away?
No, that's it.
Yeah. So this was easier for me, and I'm happy. In my previous workplace, I had a place to pray. They were open to it, but not many firms are actually open to it.
Okay.
So that was like a blessing for me, because I worked on 3 firms, and it was just in my previous firm, they had a room for prayer. So, I mean, of course, for men, it's easier to just go to the masjid, but for women, it isn't.
Right.
So that was like a very good thing in my previous workplace. So it's just like an experience that I wanted to share. And apart from that, I don't think I have much of that entrepreneur knowledge, but it's really hard for me as a person to land projects, because even when I pitch to clients, I've gone to a few residences. I have met with a few people in, like, in common places to talk about, this is my portfolio and this is my design. But somewhere they just, it's either like, we'll get back to you, or else we'll consult somewhere and we'll come back to you. So I don't know if that is my, if that's my experience that's bothering them, or it's my individuality as a Muslim that's bothering them, or my gender, that I'm a woman, if I can handle such pressure, is bothering them. So then if it happens once or twice, you'll be like, okay, fine, it's the person and it's not me. But if it happens on a repetitive basis, you kind of think if it's their mentality, if that's the problem, or if you are the problem. Because I've got at least like 6 to 7 meetings, and I've got like a similar underlying statement that we'll get back to you. Yeah, okay, we'll consult and we'll get back to you. After me actually drafting like a huge, a quotation and all of that, and that's the only reply I got back from. So again, I don't know if it's, as I told you earlier, I don't know if those were the reasons, or it might be something else. So that remains unanswered.
Yeah, so nobody told you, well, this is the issue, so you can't like give us a straight answer, or you can't have an answer. But yeah, it's really interesting because I was going through the same thing here in France, as I just became a hijabi like 2 years ago. So I didn't put, I took out the pictures on my, CV. So when I applied to different, companies, but I still, had an Arabic name. And if they go to my social media or my website, I have the hijab, so they can, see me over there. So what was really interesting is that there were the answer were like, oh, we found someone more experienced than you. But the job position was for beginners, and I had like more experience that was asked for the job. So it was really interesting to have that feedback. And if it's not one time, 2 times, it's more times. Well, I understand that there is a discrimination going on 100% compared to when I was not wearing the hijab. So that's why I'm like going for just, being employed by myself. And so I have the freedom, right, to have the schedule for prayer, to just be myself and deliver, right, the biggest value that I can, by just being me. And it's a loss for them anyway. So this is not, it shouldn't be, depressing. On the opposite, it's true that you have to do more work to push yourself, to make people understand, well, I bring you more value than just my face, or my faith. So it's really interesting that we need to struggle more, but it's a reality anyway. And on a global level, it's not only in India. You see, it's in France, which is supposed to be more advanced or like more egalitarian, but still you have the issues. So that is super, super interesting. So you decided to wear the hijab by yourself. How did you feel about going from a non-hijabi to a hijabi?
Okay, I had to first mentally, before saying it out to my family, I had to like mentally put it in my mind that I'm going to wear my headscarf. So back then I was working, and my friends were like so used to seeing me with my all my hair, my layer cut hair, and all of that. I had fringes. So the next day, like every day I used to go to work, it was mentally in my head that I'm going to wear my hijab. So the next day, I used to make these scenes like I'm going through that scene, like when everyone's on the lunch table and they're having lunch, and I'm just thinking, okay, what if I'm wearing a hijab right now? What will their reaction be? So there, I wanted validation. Like, what will they think of me? which I shouldn't, but somewhere it was there in my mind.
Yeah.
And then when I was at the train station, I was like, okay, what if I'm wearing a hijab right now? My hair will be in place.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to look at people who are wearing hijabs.
Mm.
I was looking at tutorials. I was looking at styling tips, as in first you'll have to, it's not only the hijab, it's not only your headscarf, but also the way you wear it. So I was looking for fashion tips, like how do you, like a workwear, you just wear a cardigan, you wear like nice palazzos, you wear a skirt, you wear a dress. So there are so many options. And then I was introduced to this thing called modest fashion. And then I dug deeper. Then I knew that there were fashion weeks happening in New York and in a few other parts of the world. So I started following bloggers. I started following Halima. I started following all these hijab, like local hijab stores. How they, it's, but again, social media, Instagram was like played a major part of it. And then
Right.
I started listening to a lot of TED speakers talking about what headscarf means. So I started weighing it down as in, okay, fine, I'm not wearing it because it's a fashion trend. I don't want to wear it because, what's my reason? So
Right.
I started reflecting.
Mm.
So I started watching. I'm like, okay. This reason is personal to me, and I feel it's better. And one day, I started wearing a hijab only during my commute because you have to close your face here for pollution. So I used
Yes.
to wear it as a hijab and then a niqab kind of a thing. In my workplace, I take it off. So it was like one step at a time, one step
Right.
at a time. And then after 4 or 5 months, I completely wore it. And I still remember I was wearing like a black shirt and a black palazzo with a cream hijab. I came in and I didn't take it off. I was just there. And my colleagues were like, first take it off, go like dress up, groom yourself and come back. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stay it like this. I'm going to stay like how I am. And that's when questions came. Why? Is it because your parents are looking for like is it because your marriage is like your wedding is nearing, are you doing it because of that, or is someone forcing you, is your grandparents forcing you, is the society, don't feel oppressed, you can feel free. I mean, they were so open to it. They were like, if you are getting oppressed, do talk to us. But then I felt somewhere the reasoning out was really hard for me. And also there's a very wrong perception.
Yeah.
Like when another friend of mine was asked why she wears a hijab, she didn't give it a reason, rather she blamed her parents. So naturally they kind of assumed that about me.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So somewhere we as Muslims, we are not taking that step to discover or say to get that knowledge of why we're doing a certain thing. And that does get reflected on other Muslims as well.
Yeah,
So when I
100%.
started, when I started telling my friends or my colleagues that this is the reason I'm wearing it, this is my personal reason, and so, like, oh, okay, there's so much in Islam. And I started taking dawa classes, like how much ever I know about things. I started telling them, like Khadija radiallahu anha was an entrepreneur. There is no such thing as women oppression.
Yeah.
We have a whole chapter of Muslim and of women in Quran, and they were like listening to me because no one had told them about all these things. It's just the wrong perception. It's always the media, and even if they reach out to another fellow Muslim, they're not getting the kind of they're not getting the right side, or say the good side of Islam. Maybe it's
Yes.
always the wrongness. It's like, yeah, I'm getting forced to wear it. It's my parents who asks me to do this. Oh,
Yeah.
I really don't like it. My husband won't allow me to work. It's always the negative. It's never the positive. So
Yeah.
somewhere we are to be blamed is what I realized.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that was the transition process.
it's super interesting because you see the differences of the answers or the experiences when you decide to wear it by yourself, educating yourself, reflecting, having this step by step to really be 100% comfortable. Because yes, your friends are gonna be like, okay, what is going on, that will not understand, and that's completely normal. It's like if you come pierced all over your body and like, oh, you all with your all tattoos, or like you start to wear very sexy clothes and you weren't that person, that like people were like, oh, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
So that's just natural reaction. So but then the fact that you are wearing it because you want, this is the true essence of Islam, because as we know, we can't force anything on someone. So it's really important. I feel like our stories are much more powerful, and we need to educate because we're doing the work ourselves. We're not perfect into, like, we're not scholars or anything like that, but still, as women, as Muslim women, we try to educate ourselves. We decided to be modest for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we are doing it for ourselves, for nobody else's,
Exactly.
or just for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's really, really interesting. I love that you shared that, and indeed I just agree with you. We need to educate people. It sucks because we have to do extra work, but it is what it is, right? If we don't do it, like, who's going to do it? So I prefer that
Exactly.
Muslim women are louder than just having the education of men, because even if they don't want to be like, they don't want to filter some stuff, the opinion of a man on how a Muslim woman, like a Muslim man, on how a Muslim woman should dress, it's very sensitive because they don't understand what we're going through. It's just explained, right? Your thinking process, your reflection, your doubts, but also your like main reasons, your faith. And yeah, so it's really important for me that Muslim women talk about these topics, because certainly they give a fresher and truer perspective to the question.
Hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. So let's say I still have two questions for you. One question is, if you decided, let's say, to go back before you graduated, okay, so 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and you meet the Fouzia of that time, what is one advice you would tell her?
Okay. Don't be scared to be yourself. You don't need any validation. You have to accept yourself for what you are, and try to grow as a person. Don't expect other people's validation, because you won't get it. That's one. And even when you do, you're not going to be happy about it.
Mm,
You don't need it. So, yes, that's the only thing. Just be yourself, because being yourself is kind of hardest thing to be. Accepting your thoughts, and this is your individuality, because of course somewhere we are human and we're not an island. Society, community, it does play a huge part in our lives.
mm-hmm,
So somewhere we need, what does my mom say about me, what does my teacher say about me, what do they think about me? So
mm,
somewhere that is kind of important, but don't let that be your life adrenaline. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that. Maybe you can listen to their thoughts. If it's right, take it in.
mm,
If it logically makes sense, take it in. But you don't have to completely change for that person.
mm.
It's okay to be yourself. Learn and be yourself. That's and when you do it, you kind of get a different kind of freedom.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, I'm myself and this is me, and people will accept only those. And you will feel that a lot of toxic people, they leave your life. But once you start accepting yourself, they leave your life, and that's more like that's the kind of positivity you need to grow.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
you basically filtered people, and only the close ones who give you those vibes are around you, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I
So
love
that's
it. This is my kind of like, topic. And, as a coach, this is the empowerment that I want to give to people, because once you taste this, you're
mhm,
set for life. Because again, as I said yesterday when we were talking, once you have that, everything else is learnable.
mhm,
Everything else is learnable. But if you have this certainty in you, this is amazing. And again, yes, you stop being people pleaser and totally accept yourself. the bad and the good. It's uncomfortable, it sucks again, but still, these are all the pieces that make you. So you can't, take a piece and just leave it on the side, like, oh no, I don't like it, I don't agree with that. It's like, oh, why do I have these thoughts and whatever? But again, we're not meant to be perfect. We're human beings, we were made like this. But the moment you accept, like, who you are, you can start changing for your best version that you want, right? But if you're still like in denial or rejecting part of you, you're going to be miserable, and you will find people that will take advantage of that around you. So I love that you said your environment and toxic people leave you, because yes, when you show confidence, it attracts the right people and it rejects the other, like the bad people that want to take advantage, or the negativity. Like if you say clearly, I don't want any negativity around me, well, this is what you're going to get, so it's amazing. Yeah, awesome. Last question. Is there any question you wish me to ask you that I didn't?
Not exactly. Well, to be honest, this is my first interview, so I don't really have questions. This was completely unexpected.
Yes.
And I'll tell you another one thing. I just noticed something. It's not my name on the screen.
I know, but it will not appear. Don't worry.
I noticed that. I'm like, oh my god, how dumb of me! I was like super excited.
No, don't worry. It will not show 100%. That's our secret.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Fouzia, this has been very fascinating for me and interesting, and that's why I ask you to have these conversations, because the more I speak with you, the more I hear your ideas. This is so important that other people hear it, because it's really, speaks from the heart, also in a positive way, in a growth mindset way. And I love your stories, and the woman that you are today is just, the results of all of that. And it's amazing to share it with other people. So I hope that, it will impact someone that will watch this video.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
And it was, thank you for having me, and thinking that I might be able, like, I'm to be as a person to interview, because this is like completely new for me, honestly. And it's just been 3.5 years, 4 years I've been into the career phase. And also Noor and Zafir, I've been in working with them for very few months, and I met a lot of people. I met you, and it's different perspectives, and you finally you think, okay, you're not alone.
Yeah. And this is the purpose. Yes, that's the purpose of that, this interview, the work that I'm doing, because a lot of us Muslim women think that we are alone and we are just suffering on our island. But this is not true, because many of us have the same experiences all over the world, and sharing, okay, this is how I overcome it, or this is what I've done, this is my process. Well, it gives me another perspective and another solution to try, even if it's going to be not going to be right for me, maybe, because what's right for you may be not right for me, but at least I have something that I can experiment with, and grow from it. So super. So thank you so much, Fouzia, and I'll see you very soon. Okay.
Very soon. Thank you so much for having me, and it was great having this chat with you in the morning, like in the afternoon. Actually, yes. This is afternoon for me.
This is good. The sun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And here we are. This was the conversation with Fouzia. I hope this inspired you, energized you as it did with me. Such a beautiful soul, and such a beautiful example also for all of us Muslim women to just follow and own completely who we are. Please don't leave. Watch this video about awareness. Awareness is one of the skills that you must have as a person, because you don't know what you don't know. So the first step is identifying all your challenges, all your patterns, so you can improve them and transform yourself. Also, well, to the next video, get focused, get clarity, and get started to live your best life.